Hi, this video is about the 4 problem structures related to addition and subtraction. All of these scenarios involve adding or subtracting in order to get the answer that we want. However, there's 4 different types of scenarios we can think about, and that kids really need experience with all 4 of these different types. The first one is join. It's characterized by the action of putting 2 amounts together. We have an initial amount and a change amount, and we put these 2 together in order to end up with a resulting amount. And so that joining action characterizes problems of the join type. You might think that only addition problems would result from doing this kind of thing. However, we can see that depending on what we know and don't know, sometimes we need addition and sometimes subtraction. There are 3 different kinds of join problems. We can have a join problem where the resulting amount is unknown. For example, Dr. Ross had 3 chocolate chip cookies. Dr. Lucas gave him 2 more. How many did he end up with? However, we can also talk about the change amount unknown. For example, Dr. Ross had 3 chocolate chip cookies and Dr. Lucas gave him some. He ended up with 5 cookies. How many did she give him? This actually, we need subtraction in order to find the amount of change. Similarly, we can have the initial amount unknown, and that's also a subtraction situation. Dr. Ross had some chocolate chip cookies. Dr. Lucas gave him 2 more and he ended up with 5. How many did he start with? Even though we're doing addition for one type and subtraction for the others, the main concept is that we're putting things together to end in a resulting amount, and so we call them all join problems. A different type of problem is separate problems, and here obviously we're taking an initial amount and we are separating some out. So starting with 5 and taking 2 away, and in the end we end up with 3. And so you can see it's a different kind of action. Instead of putting things together, we're taking some away. However, once again, depending on what we know and don't know, it's not always subtraction that solves these problems. If the resulting amount is unknown, then it is subtraction. Dr. Ross had 5 chocolate chip cookies and he ate 2 of them. How many did he end up with? That's subtracting. But we can also talk about separate, where the change is unknown. Dr. Ross had 5 chocolate chip cookies and he ate some of them. He ended up with 3. How many did he eat? Once again, we can use subtraction for that. When the initial amount is unknown, we actually need addition. Dr. Ross had some chocolate chip cookies and he ate 2 of them. He ended up with 3. How many did he start with? We add these 2 together to get the initial amount. Once again, it doesn't matter whether we're adding or subtracting. The structure is the same because we're talking about the same idea of taking some away from the initial amount. Another structure is the part-whole structure. Here we don't necessarily have the action of putting things together or taking them away. We simply have a group of things separated into different parts. For example, we can talk about part-whole where the whole is unknown. Dr. Ross had 3 chocolate chip cookies and 2 peanut butter cookies. How many did he have altogether? 5. Or we could talk about either of the parts being unknown. For example, Dr. Ross had some chocolate chip cookies and 2 peanut butter cookies. If he had 5 cookies altogether, how many chocolate chip cookies did he have? So once again, we see both addition and subtraction happening, but the key characteristic of part-whole is that we've got a big group and it's split by some characteristic into 2 parts. Our last structure is the compare structure, and here we have a larger group and a smaller group, or sometimes they're the same size groups, and we want to look at the difference between the groups. For example, Dr. Ross has 3 chocolate chip cookies, Dr. Lucas has 2, and so there's a difference of 1 chocolate chip cookie between them. With compare, there's 3 things we might not know. We might not know the difference. The question would be, Dr. Ross has 3 cookies, Dr. Lucas has 2, how many more does Dr. Ross have? We also might not know the smaller group. Dr. Ross has 3 cookies, Dr. Lucas has some cookies. If Dr. Ross has 1 more, how many does Dr. Lucas have? Or it might be the larger that we don't know. Dr. Ross has some cookies, Dr. Lucas has 2. If Dr. Ross has 1 more, how many does Dr. Ross have? Once again, using adding and subtracting for either of those kinds, but they're all characterized by we're looking at the difference between the 2 groups. And so we see the 4 structures, all the different things we might not know, all connected with addition and subtraction.